It is the Tuesday after Terrence's funeral. It's early in the morning. You guys have got a late night. Let's see. Who's going to be the first person to wake up?
It'll probably be me.
Probably you, okay. And what are you going to do this bright, sunny day in New Orleans?
I am going to get out my map of the ley lines and kind of look at that compared to where Muriel's is and see if the ley lines are crossing any of that area.
You don't see that any of the ley lines actually correspond to Muriel's. Most of the ley lines that you see, they do coincide in Jackson Square, but they kind of spread out in a star-shaped pattern across the city. Several of them run underneath some of the major roads and thoroughfares, but not, the little side streets that are in the French Quarter that are kind of in a crisscross pattern. So it doesn't seem like the ley lines correspond with anything over there. Anybody else who wakes up early, by the way, while we're doing this?
I probably won't wake up. Yeah, I probably won't wake up immediately. I don't know, like 10 or so.
Okay, all right. So, Jody, you're still looking at your ley lines. What's your next step?
I think I'm going to go ahead and renew my listening device in the 422 to see if they are noticing or if they're talking about weird stuff and where it might be happening the most and if there's a pattern there too.
Well, remember, it doesn't record anything, and it's early in the morning, so nobody's at the 422. If you listen through on it, you're going to hear them taking deliveries.
No, I'm redoing my spell.
Oh, redoing your spell. Okay. So you get ready, you set up your, ritual circle. It's probably going to take you a couple hours to gather the energy that you're going to need, nice and slow trickle of power so you don't get too tired. It'll make you a little tired from doing it, but, you can have a sandwich for lunch or something like that, and that'll kind of renew and regenerate you enough that you won't have to worry about it. You can reset your listening spell on that. Again, you are able to actually hear what's going on in there while you're resetting it, and they are, taking the orders of Jack Daniels and Jameson and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then I'm going to go to the library, the book newspaper section, and just see if I can research some news articles about Muriel's and maybe other places in that general area that have ghosts that could be upset.
The main ghost story you hear about Jackson Square, of course, is Muriel's. You do hear that the cathedral is supposed to be haunted, but that's probably just one of those stories that people hear in New Orleans. You do know that the apartments that are around Jackson Square some of them are supposed to be haunted because they're old apartments. A lot of them have been there for 100 years and, of course, redone over time. Getting an apartment around Jackson Square is just impossible, pretty much. But Muriel's, the ghost dates back to the 1800s. The main ones you read about, of course, are Antoine Lepardie, the guy who supposedly hung himself in the rafters, and then Tommy, the little boy who you met last night throwing stuff around the bar. Though he normally is very kind of nice, calm, and doesn't seem to throw things around, just moves things around, plays with the people who come to Muriel's and stuff like that. Muriel's is known as one of the most haunted restaurants in New Orleans, so all the other things you run across, Jean Lafitte, the blacksmith shop, supposedly has Jean Lafitte there as a ghost, which is what Bunk and Volt ran into, but other than that, there aren't many other places. Most of the ghost stories you run across seem like they're in the French Quarter, because it's the oldest part of the city. That's where, there's also been lots of fires and wars that have gone through the city, so there's lots of ghost stories there. All right, so around probably 10 o'clock, Darwin, you get up, and...
Yeah. I kind of want to do the same thing, only, because, like, the Paranairs have, like, their own little trove of information. Can I access that?
You can. You can go to one of the public computer terminals at the library. It probably takes you a few minutes to ride your moped down there to the public library. You might even run into Della as she's, flipping through the actual physical newspapers, books, and, the microfiche things. Probably the microfiche reader would work pretty well around you as long as you remain a calm demeanor and it won't, pop and burn up. But you're able to actually go over and use the computers. And so you sit down, you start logging into the Paranet website because they have kind of a login and password section because they don't want everybody finding out about all their magical abilities, especially because there's some pretty nasty things that go bump in the night that you don't want to have a list of people.
Right.
You start looking around at the different ghost stories. A lot of them have mentioned meeting Antoine Lepardie at Muriel's. Now, he's pretty chill. He's a pretty nice guy. One of the Paranetters says they played him in Gin Rummy and beat him. and he gave them the location of a really old bottle of wine that I guess he had hidden somewhere. And they went to the location, the derelict house, and sure enough, underneath the floorboards, there was this 200-year-old bottle of wine. Pretty much vinegar by that point, but it's kind of cool to have an old bottle of wine or something like that. There was a little bit of old money there too. A lot of it was from the Confederate times, which meant it wasn't worth anything, but it was still cool to have. You start looking into other ghost stories around or ghosts that people have run into. There's a lot of chatter about the Devil Man. But more disturbingly is that there seems to be some chatter about some of the paranetters have disappeared from the French Quarter without saying goodbye or anything like that. Now, people move in and out of the city all the time, but people just moving away without saying goodbye to their friends is a little odd.
Right.
Also, they stopped posting on some of the Paranet boards, so it makes people a little concerned. It hasn't been many, maybe 2 or 3, but some of their friends are a little concerned about them. One girl just didn't show up for her shift at one of the restaurants she worked at. And these are not really powerful people. They're not even the ones who are powerful enough to go around Jackson Square and read cards or tea leaves or anything like that. These are people who have the ability to make their hands 10 degrees warmer, and so they got a job as a masseuse. Or people who can stand on one leg all day for 10 hours or something like that, and so they got a job in a restaurant because that way you can stand on your feet all day. So it's not a bad thing to be able to do.
They'd be perfect at IHOP.
Yeah, right. IHOP. Aha, see what you did there.
Only hands.
Yeah. But there's a little bit of concern. There's also been a little bit of chatter that they think the ghouls that live in the port seem to be taking homeless people off the street to eat. Some of the homeless people have been disappearing from there, and they found actually a couple bodies that seem to have been devoured. It's either really large rats, which is possible, or werewolves, but most of the paranetters think that it's probably ghouls. And remember, ghouls are basically humanoid. They are really hard to kill. They can distend their jaws kind of like a snake, and they have to eat raw meat. That's what's required for their diet. So yeah, they're pretty nasty characters, that's for sure. You wouldn't want to run into one by yourself. With the rest of your buddies, yeah, you guys can take one, but and a lot of them in a pack, and they do run in packs, makes you a little nervous. So you're kind of like, I don't know.
Fair enough.
Alrighty, but that takes you two probably till about 11 or 12 o'clock. You guys could probably head out together even if you want to, because
I was gonna say that if I happen to be there and you're already there doing stuff, and be like, oh hey,
let's go get some beignets.
That sounds great.
You are hungry because you did do a lot of spells, and you probably were. Well, you've just been doing research.
Yeah,
it never hurts to eat in New Orleans, right?
Fair enough.
All right.
Especially not beignets. I mean,
So I'll probably be up next.
Yes, you are. You wake up. What are you going to do?
So, I am going to do my own brand of research, which is to go and gather haunted tour brochures of the city and just kind of look for paranormal hotspots. And I'm going to go find a diner and order like a burger and some fries, and I'm going to sit down and with a Sharpie marker just start FBI style profiling, triangulating, finding anything in the vicinity of the... Is it northwest? Is that the direction?
Northwest of Muriel's,
Of
yes.
Muriel's? Okay. Yeah, I keep forgetting the directional term from that. But anything that looks like it's popping on the area overlapping with known paranormal hotspots.
There's lots of stories about ghosts in the French Quarter. Not sure how many of them are true because they are in these brochures and they're for these tours, and of course you got to keep the tourists happy. You do notice most of the ghost stories are in the French Quarter, which again doesn't surprise you either because that's where all the tourists are. There's several hotels that are haunted. There's Hotel Monteleon, the 14th floor. Supposedly has a little toddler that's a ghost. There's also a door to the restaurant that supposedly opens and closes on its own every night, even if it's locked. The Hotel Provençal is down near La Laurie Mansion, which is in the French Quarter, and it used to be a Civil War hospital, and so people have, mentioned that blood coming out of the walls, ghosts of old Civil War soldiers, some of them missing arms or legs or things like that, screams. It's a pretty spooky place. The ghosts in Hotel Monteleon seem pretty cool. The ones in Hotel Provincial seem pretty spooky, just kind of along those lines. You're sitting there kind of drawing on your map, figuring out where all this ties together. Haven't seen a pattern yet, but you're sitting there, and all of a sudden, you notice a cup of coffee and a saucer slide across the table to you. And standing in front of you is a gentleman, dark-headed, kind of curly hair, beard and mustache, wearing a suit and tie. And he says, "Miranda?"
Maybe.
And he says, "I've been looking for you. I ran into some of your friends last night, Bunk and Volt. I've been trying to get in touch with you."
Oh, about?
Well, I own the LaLaurie Mansion, and the ghosts in there are becoming more and more restless. That's one of the reasons I was given the mansion in the first place, because I'm very devout, and my prayers had kept the ghosts kind of calm. But in the last month or so, maybe month and a half, they have gotten more and more restless, and I'm a little concerned that something is coming to a head when the ghosts are going to start manifesting, and most of the ones in my house are pretty malevolent. There's some pretty terrible things done there, and if they come through to this side, there's going to be probably bloodshed and destruction, so it could be a bad thing for the city.
So that's interesting because, and I'll like show him the work I'm doing on the map, tell him about like what me and my friends have been doing and how we ran into a ghost at Muriel's acting up and like what we've kind of like deduced from this situation. I was like, so it's interesting that things are popping off at your house while this other activity is going on.
He says, yeah, it seems like something is definitely happening in the city to cause this. He says, now, where you're looking on here, the only thing really to the northwest of Muriel's is the St. Louis No. 1 cemetery, and then also the Museum of Death. I've been to the cemetery. It seems pretty normal to me. It's got a protective threshold around it, mainly to keep things in the cemetery in. That's why we build walls around cemeteries, to keep things in. Now, the Museum of Death, a couple came out from LA about a year ago or so, built this Museum of Death. They had some pretty creepy stuff in there. We're dealing with serial killers and Dr. Kevorkian. Never been in there. I don't know what it's like. But that's also in that direction. You might want to check it out. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Make me a lore check to see if you recognize who Beaumont is, Gabriel Beaumont is.
Two? Well, no, it's a 0.
A 0. You've heard of Gabriel Beaumont. You know that he moved into the city about a year or two ago. Probably longer than that. Probably closer to 5 years ago. No, actually longer than that. Before Katrina. He was given the house by the Catholic Church. And he's been he rode the storm out in the city, didn't leave, didn't evacuate. You know that he has pretty close ties to the Catholic Church, and that he's generally known as being a pretty good guy, someone you can trust. At one point he did wield one of the swords of the cross, though he does not anymore. So that's where we are on that.
Do I know? Do I know which one he used to wear?
Make me another lore check. It was not your sword. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll give you that one. He did not wield your sword. So he looks at you and he kind of says, I believe if I remember correctly, you're a Knight of the Cross?
Uh-huh.
He says, do you have your sword with you? Dum, dum, dum.
I pull out the little cylinder case that I keep it in, and I kind of just give him a little peek without, like.
Right. And he says, do you mind if I take a look at it?
Yeah.
Because he says that
Very
sword
hesitantly.
looks like the one that Sonya currently wields. Do know of the Swords of the Cross. 2 of them live in Chicago. One of them was wielded by Michael Carpenter, a Markless, which was also Excalibur at one point. Then there was one that was wielded by Shiro, who is a Asian gentleman. It's currently not being wielded by anyone. A Markless is not being wielded by anyone either. They're both in the keeping of Harry Dresden, as far as we know. Sonya is the only Knight of the Cross currently active, and he's run a little ragged because he's the only one going around and putting to rest all these evil things. You know that he primarily fights against this group called the Blackened Denarians. And what they are is basically these coins. They're the 30 pieces of silver that Judas received for selling out Christ. And there's a demon that resides in each of these coins. And if you touch the coin, the demon will start worming its way into your head, trying to convince you to give over to it. And eventually it will convince you. And you will be possessed by the demon. Now, with that comes a phenomenal amount of power. But also what comes with it is the loss of your soul, and you get treated pretty badly. Most of the demons enslave their hosts and just take them over. So it's a pretty raw deal. And the Knights of the Cross go to basically try and stop these Blackened Denarians from doing things that they shouldn't around the world. So you can imagine how one Knight of the Cross against 30 different demons might be a little rough. Some of the Blackened Denarians coins are in the hands of the Catholic Church, so there's not really 30 of them out there, but there's still a lot of them compared to one Knight of the Cross. He looks at your sword and he says, that looks exactly like Sonya's sword, which is Esperacius. And he starts looking at it, kind of pulls it out of the little case a little bit, kind of looks at it and goes, no, it's just exactly like his. It's like a cavalry saber. He says, I don't know if you know the history of your sword, but your sword was actually made from the broadsword of Roland, the paladin, the one who fought for Charlemagne back in the 1500s. He says, a big broadsword. Most of the swords have been reworked from their original forms. And then he looks at it and he says, well, now that's interesting. And he holds up the sword to you so you can kind of look at the end, that would be the tang nut of it. And he says, what do you see on the end of there? It's a moon.
Moon.
Yeah. It looks like a seal like you would use with wax so that you could like seal something, a note or something along those lines. It's got lots of little filigree around it, and a moon is there. He says, I know for a fact that Sonya's sword has a sun and yours has a moon, which is very interesting because there had been rumors that when Christ was crucified on the cross, there weren't 3 nails, there were 4. And in fact, if you look at all the paintings of the old masters from before the 1700s, you see he had 1 cross in each hand and 1 in each foot. But somewhere around the 1700s, it changed where it was 1 long nail that went through both feet and then 1 in each hand. And that's why we thought there were only 3 swords of the cross. But there had also been rumors that Roland's broadsword had been split up into 2 swords, a sister sword, which no one really heard about, and then, of course, the Moroclus that Sonya wields. It seems you have the sword that is the sister sword to Sonya's.
That's interesting.
Which is interesting that it decides to come into play at this point, because it would lead me to believe that things are coming to a point where the 4th sword of the cross, which has been hidden until now, may be being called into play. Maybe something really bad and terrible is coming this way. Who knows? So yeah, interesting. Well, the Lord works in mysterious ways, and if it's time for him to bring a 4th player onto the board, then perhaps this is because something really bad is happening or going to happen. I don't know.
Lucky me.
He says, well, look, if you could check into the whole thing with the ghosts, and you're welcome to swing by my house anytime you want. He pulls out a business card, hands it to you.
Change information.
Yeah, and he says, swing by anytime if you'd like. The place is a bit of a mess because the ghosts are getting restless, but maybe once this is handled, we'll be able to sit down and have a nice meal, or maybe share a good glass of bourbon or something like that.
Sure, I would love to stop the ghost apocalypse and then.
Ghost apocalypse.
And then
Hey, did you mention stone stabbing?
Oh, no, thank you. He also says, now, Roland's sword was actually originally called Durandal. Each of the swords of the cross has a aspect associated with it. Yours is a sword of hope. Or, well, I should say Sonya's is a sword of hope, so I assume yours is. It must never be wielded in despair, or it can be broken. But it's also supposed to be able to cut through stone. So, might want to see if that's true or not. Though I will tell you to be careful, because you shouldn't test the Lord your God.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not a tester for sure. No testing bones in my body.
That's right.
Okay, well, right. Good to know. Thank you.
Well, I'll be seeing you, hope. Let me know how things are going and if there's anything I can do to help. Please, don't hesitate. He picks up his little coffee cup and puts it on the counter to, be slid across and, heads on out the door. So, what are you going to do?
I am going to get a to-go bag of food and a chocolate milkshake. And I'm going to go invade my new friend's house now that I know where he lives.
All right, so you're heading over to Bunks with some food and things like that.
What time is it?
It's probably noon.
Noonish,
Yeah.
probably
All right, so
30.
I'm up practicing.
All right.
Coffee practicing.
Doing scales.
All right. Knock, knock, knock. On
Come in.
wooden stove.
Hello.
All right, shove in the food.
Oh.
Like, hey, breakfast, lunch, breakfast, whatever food. Fuel.
Thank you. Come on in.
So I had a weird meeting, and also wanted to catch up on how y'all's little drive around went last night.
We had a cool time. We went to a bar, and then we went to this guy's house, and he was looking for you.
He found me.
It's weird, right?
Yeah. No, it was interesting. I think I'm the Digidestined or something, but yeah.
Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah. So we hung out with him. He seemed cool, but also,
Something's up with him. Something's up.
Yeah.
Something's up. He So you have rocks. Do you have any rocks? Like big ones? Or know where big rocks would be? I don't know.
Boom, segue.
Actually, there's quite a few. The house you live in is called the NOLA Art House.
love it.
There's a lot of artists there. That the hallways are very wide and used for galleries for stuff. Out back, there's a huge tree house that's made from basically all the stuff that washed up in Katrina.
Okay.
And so around that, people have kind of taken rocks and set up little artistic things where they painted on them or glued things to them. So where there's a lot of rocks. You're just not sure how the artists are going to feel about you taking their rocks because they
Some
decorate
rocks out back.
Yeah, some rocks out back. There you go.
Great, cool. Hey, do you want to try something really cool?
Of course.
Okay, let's go check out the rocks. This might be my best new friend. All right, so
Okay.
We
What
go-
are we doing?
okay, so Lord, I am not testing you. I have perfect faith in you. This will work or it won't. I want you to throw that big rock at me. And I pull out the sword and I get in a baseball.
How big
Like
is
a
a big
baseball? Like how big a rock is? How big a rock did you pick up?
Probably you can find a chunk of cement that's
Something
probably
like
there.
this? Like
Yeah.
this?
Sure, let's go with that.
Okay. And so toss it.
I'm gonna need a weapons check. I don't
I
have any
was saying
problem.
she
You
would
can
say-
probably hit her pretty easily.
Yeah,
Whether it's
yeah.
not, she can hit it out of the air is gonna be the
Yeah,
next
yes,
question.
that's
Yeah.
Okay.
Punk.
Yep.
Ow!
6 to this roll.
That's gonna leave
Get
a
the
mark.
shiner.
Ooh, okay, so that is a
Weapons.
7.
Okay.
Oh,
Boom.
What's your weapons?
+5 +1 for the night of for the
Oh
sword of
wow.
cross.
Okay. So you grab this chunk of stone. And it's got a little bit of rebar in it and stuff like that. And it's, yeah, it's just a little bit of rebar. And so you take it and it weighs probably 5-10 pounds. You kind of hurl it at her, and it's not coming real fast because it's heavy. I mean, you imagine trying to throw the head of a sledgehammer at someone. It's just you're gonna have to put some muscle behind it to get it to go fast. But it comes flying at you, and you go, okay, and ding! Oh, it rings your hands because it does not cut the stone. The stone hits and falls to the ground. Interestingly enough, though, it does not break the sword because you're thinking that normally, if you had hit a sword like that, it would just sheared off and shattered. Okay,
Right.
Your sword does not shatter, but it doesn't cut it either.
What was supposed to happen? This is supposed to be cool.
Wah wah wah.
Well, the sword didn't break. I thought what I thought would happen is just do you ever watch anime? You know, those like shing, and then there would be light,
Like
and then the, you know, moment would happen. I thought that maybe this is cool too, though. This is definitely an unbreakable sword. Yeah,
So-
okay. I'm just
Back in the tube.
all right.
get
So
back down.
and then I pull out my psycho map and I go. So I did some research.
Okay.
A lot of lines on this map.
Yes.
You're not sure what's going on.
I'm
How
not
late did you
sure.
stay up?
I
How
got
much coffee?
Yeah.
pretty good amount of sleep. I think
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
This is okay. So I had narrowed down what I think are our search locations to St. Louis Cathedral Cemetery and this death museum. However, Beaumont seemed to kind of give the okay on the cemetery, so maybe we'll bump that one down the list. I'm thinking there's like a
We kind of talked about Volt and I, and so I was thinking the Death Museum
yes. Okay.
because that's kind of new, and maybe
Yeah. This is a recent phenomenon with the screaming
maybe
and the
they
ghosts.
maybe like this museums they have things come in and out.
Right, that's what I was thinking. Maybe like some haunted,
So,
legitimately
yeah, like
haunted,
they brought
like
in some
thing.
something cursed or something.
maybe could be.
You
Yeah,
know, that they just didn't know about.
worth a look. I mean, we can cross it off
Yeah,
the list
Plus,
if
it's
it
a
doesn't.
museum. We can go see. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
if
yeah.
nothing else, we can be freaked out a little bit.
So we should get the rest of the Scooby Gang. You got anything else going
I
on
was,
today?
yeah, no, I mean, I'm
Well,
playing my horn and.
You have
Chill.
your burger, and
Well, yeah,
I'll
I'm
call.
chilling.
I'll make
you
some
call,
calls.
You round up the posse, and that's.
I like your house.
Thank you.
Nice.
It's nice for now. Hope no one leaves here soon. I'll
Leaves?
have to bake it in 10 years.
Oh.
I'll start calling. Well, I guess I'll start with you because you have a phone. You have a phone, right? Like a flip phone.
Yeah.
It's a flip phone, yeah.
Okay.
Nokia.
Gotcha.
You have the
Because those things
problem
last
with
forever.
I got the battery
Okay.
fixed.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got the car.
Because I thought you had a
Bunk
landline
and
at
I
your
are-
house.
I do have a landline.
Yeah.
Y'all are different kinds of practitioners here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Their practitioner doesn't, because they're not quite in the same league as she is. Their practicing doesn't cause, especially not his,
Yeah.
because he's all about making items, and so
Got you.
he's kind of on the. Yours, on the other hand, will cause problems with magical things because evocation has a tendency to futz with electrical stuff a lot more. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll start with calling Volt.
Mhm.
Ring, ring. Banana phone.
Hello?
Hey, are you awake? Did I
Yeah.
wake you up?
No.
Guess where I'm at?
New Orleans.
Damn it!
Good call.
What did I win?
No. I came over to Bunk's house.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Great
We're
guy.
here. We did. Yeah, real fun. He threw a rock at me. So we're
Okay.
we have a lead.
Use your kinetic energy.
A lead?
Yeah, we have a lead. So we're thinking we're gonna check. How would you like to? Hey, is today Monday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Ah, man, one day shy of Museum Monday. We're gonna do Museum Tuesday.
All right.
All right.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm gonna call Della and Darwin here in a little bit. So do you want to? Can we meet? Can they just come here?
Sure.
Just meet us at Bunk's place.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, great. See you soon. All of the Gen X kids are gonna, Gen Z kids are gonna wonder why we're doing our homework.
Any idea what's going on?
Why don't they just do this?
Yeah, right?
I wonder
What do they just do? No, what do they just do this?
All right, now I'm gonna
No,
call
they
Della.
just do this. You know, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, right. There you go.
Or just hello.
Yeah, that's about right.
Hey,
Because you're holding your phone out like this. Yeah.
Speaker.
Yeah. So, what are you doing then?
I guess before the call, I was probably going through the standard, searching through the boxes and just doing.
Yeah, nothing really exciting today. More low-level cooking electronic stuff. There's a couple things you don't recognize. One of them is something about a sous vide. I'm not sure what that is. There's a couple crock pots and some things like that. Looks like whoever this whatever truck this fell off of, it was coming from a cooking store. There's some pots and pans, which doesn't do you a whole lot of good because you don't have a stove.
Right.
But you do have one of those little griddle things, those little electric griddles. So that's not too bad. But yeah, you're going through that.
I'll
stuff.
probably keep one of each.
Okay.
Just for spare parts reasons.
Right.
And just back to the dumpster with the rest.
Right. Yeah. Most of the stuff you're kind of like, wow, okay, that's great. Yeah. So, yeah. But you get about halfway through before she calls you, so you got half of a pallet full of boxes left.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then after the call, I guess I'll saddle up in the 97 Impala. And is it 97?
So, it was a 69.
Yeah.
69 Impala.
67
I
Impala?
got
No, no,
97.
no, 97,
That's not a cool
That's
car.
not a cool
Yeah, I was like,
That's what Grandma drives.
I just showed my gray Megan glasses.
Every
Wow,
Impala
multi-age.
after 85 was.
What year is it?
Was that last Wednesday when I got that that scammer call and tried to pretend to be the little old lady and you didn't buy it? Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah,
funny.
that car went from panty dropper to granny shopper real quick.
I like that. So that was probably, like I said, probably like a 67 Impala or something like that. I guess we could.
I was
All
gonna
right.
say 67.
Oh, I
Right.
just looked up 99 Impala.
Sad?
It's definitely not
I felt like
cool.
there was a
Yeah.
7 in it, and it's probably 67 or 76.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
go with
67.
67.
Yeah.
I just looked that one up too.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Man.
Well, you got the car from Supernatural and you got the pistol, so
Yeah,
there we go.
there you
We're
go.
good to go. All right, so you saddle up and head over to Bunks because you know where it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Calling Della.
I have to go get it. I don't care. Okay. I go back into my office. Oh, okay.
Your phone's making
Miss-
weird noises. I mean,
You just need a really
It
long
went too
stick.
long. So I
I'll
just
just
like
shake
hang
it.
up.
I'll just shake it.
I'm like,
no, I'm gonna open it, sit on the desk, and then back away.
as soon
Okay.
as she like, and then I'm gonna call Darwin.
you open it up and immediately disconnects.
like literally the moment I was like,
Kirk. Did I do that right?
You probably think it's you.
I killed another phone. Well, there we go.
Put it in my pocket.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're getting a phone call now.
I'm trying to think. When we went to go get beignets,
They're not.
are we still
Oh yeah.
eating or is this at the point
Oh,
of like?
that's
Oh,
true.
Okay, back this up.
Okay,
Back this
okay.
up.
I guess you'll
Back
eat
this phone up.
beignets.
Back this.
So
Sorry.
Did you even take your phone with you to that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
she
okay.
did.
So I try to open it. Doesn't work. But
Then he gets a call.
Hello?
Hey,
Oh no.
we are. It's good news. No, it's good
okay.
news.
Okay.
It's good news. We have a lead.
Dun dun dun.
We are going to the museum.
Um,
Do you want to meet us at Bunk's house? You can go to the museum.
You've heard the World War II museum is very cool.
that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking.
Yeah,
like, it was.
so maybe a World War II museum. That'd be kind of cool outing.
Uh,
Do you have someone over? Who are you talking to?
you calling out? Hold on a second.
I'm staring at you like, what's wrong?
Sorry,
with
like,
you?
I never knew.
You can stop. Anyways, it's Miranda. She says we're going to a museum. Something I need. I don't.
Okay.
Okay, she said something about Bunk's. You know what Bunk's house is?
Why would
don't
your
think so.
friend know where Bunk's house is?
Well, you're my friend. Do you know where Bunk's house is?
I'm there right now.
All right, proven.
Who?
Why would my friend know where Bunk's house is? You know.
How? That's not. Who is hanging out with you right now?
Abdullah.
Oh, okay. I thought you had like
All right.
someone else there. You know,
As long
like
as it's not that stripper from the bar last night. Yeah.
I don't remember her.
Yeah. It was a
there
good
were a
night
couple
then.
of swingers on at the jazz club. Just saying.
That's right.
I know. Anyways, do you know where Bunk's house is?
No idea.
Yeah, we
Hey,
don't know where that is.
I want to see
How
Bucket
drunk were
in
you
the
guys?
Vault
We all
House.
stopped by there, didn't we?
No.
No, just us.
No, we're still
Pick
back
him
in
up.
this house, so.
That's right.
Someone's having issues.
So
So his
everyone knows
address-
where Bunk's house is. What are you talking about? Come on.
In a
That's-
complete disregard for privacy whatsoever, I disclose his address to them.
Actually, you guys do recognize his house as being, he lives in the NOLA Art House. So you're kind of like, oh, I know where that is.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, there are rocks like out back behind the. You probably can't see that from the road. Just you know where to come?
Yeah, I think we got it.
Okay, cool. See y'all soon.
All right, see you.
All right, bye.
Alrighty. Finish your beignets.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Head to Bunk's house.
They're coming.
Yep.
All right. Takes you guys a few minutes to head over there. You probably ride your scooter.
Yes.
I have my bike.
You have your bike. You're not able to keep up. He gets there before you.
That's fine.
If you remember where it was a little ways outside the French Quarter. Yeah, you get there in about probably 5 minutes before Della does. She's using spirit magic to keep up or something. I don't know.
So I just use my umbrella to hook on the end of cars.
Oh, there you go.
They do,
Hook on the end of a scooter. There are lots of other scooters parked outside our house. You're thinking this might be a cool place. So there you go, because these people ride scooters. There's also lots of bikes too. So you pull up, chain your bike and your scooter, go up to the steps to the front porch and knock on the door.
Yeah, 100% I'm waiting on you. I'm not going in there alone.
Okay.
Artists are scary. What do you mean? Yes.
Yeah.
Knock on the door. Door opens, and this nice, you think she's probably Hispanic woman, who comes to the door. She opens it and says, "Hi, can I help you?" She's got a curly-headed little boy on her hip. He looks like he's maybe 2.
We're looking for Bunk.
Oh, Bunk. Yeah, he's out back. And so she leads you through the house. There's lots of, paintings on the wall, some sculptures and stuff like that. All of them look like they're done by local artists. They're not anything like, like you would see in a museum, no stuff like that. She takes you... Yet, that's right. Not yet. They'll be there eventually once they're discovered. There's lots of doors on the hallways where you can see that, probably people have these little rooms that they live in. She takes you down the back stairs right before you get to the kitchen, which is this huge kitchen with a big table where everybody can eat, and out back to this big oak tree where there's this tree house would be about the only way you could put it, that's been built in this big oak tree. You notice that there's a bunch of benches underneath the tree also. It looks kind of like an impromptu pavilion where it looks like people hang out at. There's also a little gazebo. And out back, sure enough, are Bunk and Miranda. Bunk is throwing rocks at her. Mm-hmm. She's swatting them out of the air, which is kind of interesting to see. So yeah, you probably arrived just about the same time, maybe a little before they did. And yeah, he's using his force, kinetic stuff, Yeah, and she's slapping them up. You're not cutting any stones, but the interesting thing about it also, you're not scratching your sword either. You're just kind of swatting them out of the air.
Man, it can take a lot of abuse.
So you guys kind of all arrive at the same time at the art house. It's probably about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Remember, it's November, so it's cool out. You're not hot. You're flinging rocks at her. She's swatting them out of the air. Hadn't cut any rocks though.
Not that any of my business, but why?
Oh,
You got a new trick.
I think somebody's feeling jealous.
This is a cool sword, and it does cool things, and I'm just trying to see what the limit on that is.
Because
I'll
not
just
breaking
put
it,
it
should
away.
break. Did you think it should break?
I see you putting some force into that stuff.
It's
Yeah.
not even
Breaking
scratched, and then pull it out, put it right under his eye, no
Right under my-
scratches on here. While I'm there, I'm like, you got a little. I could shave, probably. Okay.
Her sword is really, really sharp. Now, you also know probably it wouldn't hurt you either. To injure an innocent with the sword of the cross would be to defile them, and so she's not going to hurt you. You know that. You know better than that. Besides, Miranda wouldn't hurt you any. Well, okay, not on purpose.
On
anyway.
purpose.
I was going to say, everything you're saying sounds fantastic. However,
She might cut you shaving, but would not be on purpose. That's right. All right. So yeah. The Scooby Gang has all gathered at the Nola house, and what are you pitching? What idea you're pitching at
I
them?
pull out my psycho map, and I have my full-on Charlie Day moment, and I'm like, guys, I did some, and this looks like nothing, by the way. It's just lines and X's, and there's no rhythm to it. And I go, so this is clearly where we need to go. And I point to the Museum of Death. And I'm like,
Is that also fully blackened so you can't tell?
see, I've just scrolled over so many times.
so many lines and X's. You're just like, this is where I need it.
And there's a drawing of like an eye in the corner, and then there's doodles of flowers over here. Yes.
This, no,
Just
no,
the
this.
Illuminati triangle
Right.
for no reason.
Well, you've actually drawn the street, so it's made a triangle, and you're like, look, it's a tap. Yeah.
Did you just trace the roads on something? Like,
Yes.
Added
so
some.
I've done some very thorough research, and I've concluded that it can only be coming from here.
Only?
Well, maybe not
That's,
only,
that's our
but
best lead right now.
it's our
besides-
best guess at this moment, and it's a good
Sounded
guess.
better as lead.
I have,
Lead.
it's a good lead. It's a good lead, guys, because it's new-ish. It's spooky.
It might have some
Okay, fair
things that
enough,
roll
fair
in and
enough.
out.
It's in
It
the
might
right
pick something out.
direction, and I have a hunch.
Well,
Wow.
that seals it. Let's do it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna turn towards
Chiropractor might be able to fix that.
Della and say, "Hey, Bunk and I were out
I
last
sleep on
night. Some
mattress
guy
on the floor,
named
Darwin."
Belmont was looking for you. Gabriel
I'm
Belmont.
sorry.
Ring a bell.
She was looking for Miranda.
Gabriel.
Is it Miranda?
He was looking for Miranda. Yeah.
I turned to Miranda and said, "Hey, Bunk and I were out last night."
I hear
Some
this, and I'm
guy
like, he
thing.
was looking for you too.
No, he did not look for Della.
But yeah, you want to get in contact with you.
He bought me a cup of coffee today and knew where I was gonna be somehow and knew
Weird.
how I take my
Lord works in
coffee.
mysterious ways.
Yeah, interesting guy. Interesting guy.
Mm-hmm.
No, he actually sort of helped me he contributed a little bit to maybe me figuring out where
That
we need to go.
masterpiece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I showed him, and he pretty much confirmed what I already thought. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, he said that I had good instincts and something like that. He didn't say that exactly, but
Probably high praise from a guy like him.
I was impressed considering he just showed up where I was, and I didn't tell him where I was going to be or anything like that.
Yeah, that's a
So
little
I
weird.
think this is a sign. We should go this way. I mean, if nothing else, we can just scratch it off the list and then move on to another option at some point. And I mean, if we ain't got anything else to do, a museum would just be fun.
At this point, you're realizing she's not talking about the World War II museum, by the way.
Yeah, I can't figure that one out.
Yeah, the mention
Like,
of
wait,
the
what?
Kevorkian machine or whatever didn't
yeah.
give it away.
Yeah, you're like,
No, a little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie, but yeah.
What's the matter?
I thought we were going to a different museum.
We can go to another museum. We could make it a thing if you really want to go do museums.
I mean, fair enough. They got quite a few decent museums
If
around
this
here.
doesn't shake out, I mean, preferably we should figure out what's going on with the ghosts before. Oh yeah, he mentioned something about a ghost apocalypse that we probably should stop.
That would be nice
I
to know,
forgot to
actually.
mention
Yes.
that. Well, he didn't use that word exactly. That was my word,
Oh,
but
okay.
but it didn't sound good, and it sounded like things were boiling up and maybe coming to a head. And that
Kind of like
bad
from the Ghostbusters movie, giant,
The
stuff,
Dude,
fake
I
off
don't-
Marshmallow
yeah.
Man.
Perhaps. It could be. Maybe. Or desperate, tortured souls of slave owners pouring into the streets to wreak havoc on all of humanity and
I like his
something
idea
like
better.
that. Yeah, or it could be
Yeah.
a marshmallow
Slime
guy.
Slimer.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Slimer sounds better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those things could happen. So I'm just saying, So what do we,
No, let's roll.
trolley? Yeah. I guess could we take the trolley? Because that's probably going to be the only mode of transportation at Carry All.
You're gonna have to.
Five of us.
If you want to take the trolley, you can. Well, his car can handle it.
Oh, okay.
His Impala's big enough to seat all five of you for sure.
Okay.
Probably almost all of you in the back seat.
We'll
How big is
Or the
that
trunk.
trunk? Kind
Yeah.
of
Definitely the trunk. Yeah.
Do you want to take your bike?
Yeah.
Sure.
You can throw it in the trunk. That's for sure. I'm sure his trunk's big enough for that.
Too bad you can't put your scooter in there.
Wow.
It should be safe with all the other scooters.
I began moving things around. And I just pick up the whole scooter and
I was like, Darwin whips out
We'll
his
put it in the
tools,
front
he
seat.
disassembles,
Yeah.
put it on the scooter. puts
You
it
need
in-
to make that scooter like your Iron Man suit, collapsible and ready to pull out of it.
yes.
You could probably do that with your powers.
So you guys hop in the Impala. start heading towards the Museum of Death. You're not going to be able to park very close to it. You're going to have to find, a parking lot and park and then kind of walk, but it's only a couple blocks. You find a place to park, take your money and, set it up so that you can, pay the parking meter for a couple hours and walk down the street. It's actually, ironically, the same road that Jean Lafitte's is on and also that St. Louis Cemetery is on. St. Louis Cemetery is not next door to it, but it's it's a little north and kind of east of it. It's what looks like maybe an old office building. Big glassed-in windows. Looks like it's about maybe 3 or 4 stories tall. It's not what you would think of as a museum. It's a little run down. There's a big glass door and in big bold letters. Looks like they maybe were done with some of this vinyl stuff. It says Museum of Death with these kind of drippy things coming underneath it. It's kind of kitschy. You walk up to the front door, push the door open, and there's kind of this little entry foyer. There's a counter in front of you with a young man standing behind it. Maybe he's in his 30s or 40s, standing behind it with a cash register. Underneath the counter, there's some things that you can buy. There's like T-shirts, there's shot glasses, New Orleans Museum of Death, and they have skulls on them and stuff like that. The T-shirts are pretty much all kinds of different colors, primarily black and white. There's some dark blues and even a bright green. And he's standing there, and then behind him, there's like what literally looks like the curtains like you would have in a hospital that they would draw around, people's things like that. So you get this very much a hospital kind of vibe. Maybe that's what they're going for. And then there's a little opening that's maybe about 2-3 feet wide that would lead back into the museum. And so he looks at you and he says, "Hi, you here for a tour?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Great. Tickets are $15 a person.
Yeah. We are here for an inspection. I'm kidding. Here you go.
Okay.
It says $15 a piece, but it is a 45-minute tour, and I will personally take you around myself to show you all the different exhibits. So it's a guided tour.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not just a walking tour. And he says the walking tour, you can do that on your own.
Nobody
if you
else
like.
balked at that but us. We were like,
Yeah. Well, no. He goes, if you want to do just the walking tour, it's $7 a person. But, of course, I know a lot of things about the exhibits that I would love to share with you, being one of the proprietors.
I pull out my $15.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
He says, "Oh, well, great." He takes the money, rings it up in the cash register, hands you each a receipt that says Museum of Death, in the little, kind of cash register stuff, and it says $15 and stuff like that. He puts it in the cash register, closes it up, reaches over and locks the cash register. He says, "Well, follow me." And so he walks over. He says, "By the way, my name is JD." He shakes all of your hands. He says, "I'm one of the owners of the Museum of Death." He says, "I'll take you around to the different exhibits." So he takes you inside through this, little parting in the curtains, and immediately you notice that this area has been set up with like partitions, like you would use for a cubicle farm in a office. But these cubicle partitions, instead of being like 5-6 feet tall, are about 8 to 10 feet tall. So and you come to this main entranceway, and he says, "All right, well, let's get started here." And he says, "This is the crime blotter room." And so this room, you can see, it extends kind of to your left. And on the wall are all these pictures. And they look like pictures from, like, murder scenes or stuff like that. And he starts giving you this spiel. These are actual morgue photos of the Black Dahlia. The woman who was found with her lower part of her body cut in half and some things like that. And he starts telling you about all these different crimes. And all of these are famous crime scenes. He says, "I want you to understand that these are not copies of photos. These are actual photos taken from the actual scene where this happened, and we have the original copies." And you're kind of like, "How do you get original crime scene photos? Isn't that illegal?" Because you're thinking this is maybe a little sketchy, but he starts telling you about them, and when you kind of go over and look at them, they're all framed behind glass. You look at them, and you're thinking he probably is legit in what he's telling you, and that these are actual crime scene photos. They're a little yellowed around the edges. The one from the Black Dahlia is, looks like it was done with that silver nitrate or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's definitely aged poorly. But he shows it to you, and he says, we have special glass here to protect the photos so that you can see through. But
How'd you come into possession of these?
Lots of auctions. Online you can find this kind of stuff if you know where to look. He says eBay is a great source for this kind of memorabilia, and sometimes we find collectors that we can trade some of our things to them, and they have things that we want. And so we trade to different collectors, sell to different collectors. Some of these we don't own. They're on loan from private collections of people who have them. But most of them are owned by myself and Catherine, the other owner.
Yeah,
So-
he's not wrong. That's where I got my sword. eBay.
Yeah, eBay, right. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
I completely believe that.
Yeah, right. So he tells you about all these different crime scene photos. There's like in one corner there's a picture of someone who basically committed suicide, and their head's really blown apart. It's kind of gruesome. And there's a couple little glass cases in front. Some of them are like some of the actual items that were found at the crime scene, like pellets from a shotgun, where the guy that maybe been taken out of the corpse, and it's kind of disturbing, definitely disconcerting.
I was about to make a comment about how it was like I was back in high school again, and then I remember the game is set in 2010 when all of that shop website stuff was like a
Yeah. And this is definitely just prime time for this kind of stuff. So you round the corner, and he brings you to the next room, and he says, okay, this is the serial killer room. And he starts showing you all this memorabilia from serial killers. John Wayne Gacy's authentic clown shoes. And some different things from different serial killers like that. There were some pictures and some things from Marilyn Manson, listen to me, Charlie Manson, some things like that. And he starts telling you all these stories about where they got them and how they got them. And again, it is terribly creepy. Because one of Kevorkian's machines that he used to kill people, and you're just kind of like, this is really weird. And you do think it's interesting that they put Kevorkian in with the serial killers. Probably appropriate. And so he, again, he's telling you about all these things. He seems to be very, very knowledgeable. While you are creeped out by what you're looking at, JD seems to be a genuinely nice kind of guy, even if he is kind of fascinated with death. He's probably in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. Relatively handsome, dark-headed, kind of slightly curly hair. After about another 15 minutes of telling you about the serial killers, you round the corner, and he says, and this is the room of death. And he starts with, kind of different ways people can die. They have a guillotine and some things like that. He talks about implements of torture, and has an Iron Maiden. And he goes on to tell you that, Iron Maidens weren't actually used. It was just, something that they came up with. And he actually seems like he knows what he's talking about pretty well. He shows you an actual suicide suit, and there's half a dozen shrunken heads hanging from the wall. He says they're authentic. Think they might be. They do look pretty gross and disgusting. He says actually, and one of their prized possessions, and there's this pair of Nike shoes sitting over there. He says, yeah, this is a pair of Nike shoes that were actually taken from the Heaven's Gate.
Yes!
Yeah, guys.
I am a fan of cult stuff, so this I know about.
Yeah, and he says it's kind of, they actually came from that, so it's
Was that Miranda, or is that?
That I figured it would work for Miranda.
Yeah.
But that's actually me.
Yeah.
I got excited.
Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, Heaven's Gate. Wow.
And so it's really kind of, again, to think that these were the Nike shoes that someone died in is a little creepy if they're legit. I mean, how are you going to check?
I mean, the street value of this shoe alone, whether it was one of the regular pair or not, has skyrocketed just from the association. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm like taking over his tour at this point.
And he just listens, and he actually nods and smiles, and he makes a few comments when you're talking about. Again, this guy seems genuinely kind of a pleasant fellow. Again, even if he is a little fascinated with death. He finishes his spiel in this room, and he takes you out through one of the other doors, and there's a room that has more T-shirts and more paraphernalia and stuff like that in it. He says, "This is our shop. You are welcome to look. I'm going to head back to the front to see if there's any other people who need a tour, and Catherine will be with you shortly." And so he turns you loose in the shop, and then heads kind of out a side door. Looks like you've made a big U shape, if you will.
Yeah.
And so this nice looking woman, dark-headed, not wearing glasses or anything like that. She's a little shorter than JD. Steps out from the back and she says, "Hi, I'm Kat." And she shakes all your hands. She says, "Is there anything I can get you in particular that you're interested in looking at?"
Well, did anybody get well, I guess I can't ask that now. Did I get a vibe off of anything while touring?
What kind of vibe do you mean?
Cursed,
a lore
riling
check.
up. Yeah, okay.
Anybody who would like to see if any of this stuff gives you the heebie-jeebies, you make a lore check.
Does stuff give me heebie-jeebies
One.
without using my wizard eye?
It can.
Okay.
I'm not sure you want to open your wizard's
No,
eye here.
no,
Yeah,
I
that
am not
sounds like
opening
a
my wizard's eye.
terrible
That's
idea.
not even, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't come across.
Sounds like a terrible idea. Ooh, that's a good roll.
A 4.
3.
3. Okay, what'd you get?
Yeah,
I mean-
one.
Yeah, I saw you rolled really well.
Yeah.
One.
Okay. All of the stuff made you creeped out, okay? But none of it in particular made you feel like it was maybe evil or cursed. Now, how would you detect that? It would just kind of give you a chilly sensation. You guys have felt ghosts recently, so you didn't feel any ghostliness around here, no cold spots or anything like that. But again, all of this stuff was kind of creepy enough to make you go, ew. So yeah, except for Miranda, who's excited.
What's
So,
this, yeah. What's this lady's name again?
Catherine, but she goes by Kat. Yeah.
Kat. Hey, Kat. So this was great. Loved the shoes. Have you guys gotten anything in recently that maybe you haven't put out yet for the public? Any sneak peek of some upcoming exhibit that we could maybe get a preview of?
No, but understand that a lot of the stuff we don't put it out there because we're restoring it and cleaning it up. Sometimes it's sat in basements or boxes for years, and so we have to make sure it's nice and presentable. So nothing right now. Why? What are you anticipating? Things particularly you're looking for?
Just be real with her. Maybe. I'm just gonna be real with you. Okay.
I'm currently looking at T-shirts. I don't
We
know.
are. He's looking for T-shirts, and I just geeked out over shoes, and I'm sitting.
Yeah, right.
I pull out my map,
Mhm.
and I go, "So, your
I
museum
walk away.
is."
I'm watching those.
Yeah.
Who's gonna have beer?
Popcorn appears.
Yeah.
So, we're not crazy. We've been hunting not a ghost, something bothering ghosts that is emanating from this area recently. And your shop, point to where I've scribbled it out on the map, is this museum is sort of the nexus of some very negative, bad thing that we've been feeling.
Well, being someone who's fascinated with death myself, JD and I own this place. I can tell you that there have been some really strange things occurring at the St. Louis Cemetery. A lot of weird comings and goings at night. So, yeah.
Can you define a little more specific than just weird?
Well, people going in at night or at all hours. I can't get in because they lock the gates. But there've been, I've seen people pull up in cars or coming up to the gate and someone letting them in and then locking it behind them. So something I think is going on at the cemetery, and that seems to be primarily. I want to say the last time there was a really flurry of activity was the new moon. So I don't know.
What are we doing on the new moon? Were we hunting the devil man?
Yeah, well, you guys were hunting. It wasn't the full moon when you were. No, it was the full moon. The devil man was at the
So
full
the
moon.
was
Right.
recently. Do you know? Could you tell me anything about the description of the vehicles and around what time this activity
Well,
has been happening?
I didn't hang around because I was a little concerned that if they saw me and they were up to no good, that that's a pretty dangerous part of the city anyway at
Right.
night. So no, I didn't really get a look on them. I can tell you it was late, probably
After
probably
10,
midnight, maybe 11. I'm not real sure. It was
Okay.
late though.
I'm actually affiliated with the cathedral, so I mean this would be very useful information to know with them.
Well, she looks at you and she says, I really think you ought to talk to the security guard because
Okay.
I think he's the one who's letting them in. Those fences are pretty tall, and it would be. I mean, of course, people can climb fences, but these people weren't going in through the fences; they were going in through the gate. Someone was letting them in. So yeah, I would be careful.
Okay.
If it's an inside job, then there may be a lot of people involved.
Well, thank you for
Yeah,
that
sure.
information.
Well, we have to respect death, and so if somebody's defiling the cemetery, that's not okay.
I agree.
You do notice she's wearing all black,
Not
which is appropriate.
surprised.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so was JD. In fact, interestingly enough.
So do y'all have any weird, would y'all be on the ghost tour if they had a ghost tour?
We have some advertisements with some of their flyers, of course, because when they go on the tour, sometimes people the next day or something like that want to come to us and see our museum. But yeah, we've got some advertisements with them, but that's it. No, we're not on any of the tours.
But you're not on, so you don't have any
No.
manifestations or anything around.
No. It's an old office building. Wish we had kind of a spookier location, but actually getting any location in the French Quarter is pretty expensive. So this isn't the best we could do, but it serves our purpose. It's a big open area. We were able to set it up, and we've only been here about maybe a year. We were originally located in Los Angeles, and so we moved here. It just seemed like it would be a better place. New Orleans is one of the most haunted cities in the United States, so Museum of Death seemed like it would fit right in. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Fair enough.
certainly does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was very fun
Sure.
tour. Nice establishment. Love
The
what
shoes?
you're doing
The
with
shoes?
the place. Yeah, the shoes are great. So, and thank you for the information.
Sure. Glad I could help you.
Okay,
Let's go.
should we?
All right. She seems a little disappointed you didn't buy a T-shirt. So you gonna buy a
Okay,
T-shirt?
I was waiting for my moment.
All right. T-shirts are $10. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, like a.
T-shirts, expensive admission.
Yeah, they're actually.
Yeah, I was like, there was
This
no
was black.
check.
It has it in red.
$15
Museum of Death. The little white skull. The skull's kind of this Dia de los Muertos skull with kind of the tears
The
and
sugar
flowers
skull
and
kind
stuff
of
like that.
thing.
Yeah, it's just kind of cool looking. Yeah. All right.
Nice. I imagine he was like putting it on now.
Yeah, that's right.
He's definitely walking
Full
out
on
with it
tourist
yeah.
mode.
That's right. All right. So where are we going now?
So that's interesting about the cemetery because I spoke to Beaumont
Gabriel
this
Beaumont.
morning and he seemed to feel like that was pretty short up. So I don't know. That's weird.
It's just good. We're just right there. Let's go do a walkthrough.
Yeah,
Okay.
might as well.
We'll
Yeah,
have
it's
to
probably a couple
do-
blocks.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably about 5
We'll have
blocks. It's not
to.
far.
We'll have to go on a tour though.
Not necessarily.
No, we're just busting there for an inspection.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, no. During the day, you can go in. You're supposed to have a tour guide there primarily for your own safety. She works with the church. They're probably
that's
not
right, I
going to
forgot.
question her too much. She'll just, flash her sword of the cross, and they'll go, "Ooh, yep, you're okay."
We
you're
just
good."
flash our badges,
That's right,
Della's,
badges.
Do you see
detective,
some?
constable, communicators. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dallas Canny Constables.
Oh, candy
Like-
constables! Look at us.
Candy constables. Yeah.
Wow.
We have actual
Stop
badges.
it! Are you
That's
kidding me?
awesome.
And then I thought, the others might want one too.
Oh.
I like it.
I love that. So great. I like that.
And they're wearable.
Yeah. See that? Oh,
Yo,
yeah.
we found out.
She's got his on. So does Tyler.
We found out.
They immediately put them on and they're wearable.
It's a magnet.
It's a little
Oh, it's a
magnet. You just
magnet.
pull
Pull
it
the
up.
magnet off, and it'll It'll.
Is your
You
super
might
on
just
there?
need to push it here.
Maybe you need a sword
I'm just
to hit
scared. I
with
think
it,
I'm.
or-
Yeah.
You shouldn't want to break
Oh,
it. That's
so
what it
that's-
is. Yeah, shouldn't want to break it.
Oh, okay.
And I pull it off.
Oh my god. This is my favorite thing that has ever existed.
You head to the St. Louis Cathedral. Excuse me, St. Louis Number 1 Cemetery. Probably all pile into the car, drive down there. Now, actually, there's a little bit of parking around there because it's right next to one of the train stations. You park at the train station parking, go up to the cemetery at the big not marble, probably they're big stone walls that go around it. They are literally 12 feet tall and topped by broken glass. I mean, they're huge. Big wrought iron gate. And you go up, the gate's open. There's a gentleman standing at the gate. He's, I don't know, young-ish, 25 maybe. You're not really sure. He's a little heavy set. He's wearing a blue shirt that says, what is this guy's name? His name is Oliver.
Okay, cool.
Do I recognize him?
Oliver.
Huh?
Do I
No.
recognize him?
If he was anybody, he's a security guard. Very obviously, he's got a little gold badge. Not as cool as your
We
badges,
can
but
see his name though.
yeah. But and it says Oliver. You come walking up, and he says, "Are you with a tour group?"
I'm taking them in, Ollie.
Okay. He looks at you and says, "It's Oliver."
Ollie. got it.
And he
Yeah.
says, he's got
Always
kind of
gambling.
sandy hair. He looks at you and he says, well, be careful in there. We sometimes have muggers who like to hide amongst the tombs and mug people. Yeah, that would be their worst day ever.
Bad luck bandits.
You see Vault's eyes go shing.
I wish they would.
Yeah.
Please? He says, and when he says that and sees your look, he kind of goes, oh, well, be careful in there. So you go in, right?
Should we ask him?
Hey, see anything, weird going on here recently? I mean, I know it's New Orleans, I know it's the St. Louis Cemetery, but anything more out of the normal than usual in the past month or two?
And he says, no, everything's been pretty quiet. Not a whole lot going on here at all.
No, we just heard things like some weird people dropping in late at night and just this stuff like that. I just wondered if you'd heard anything about like that.
Are you checking to see whether he's telling you the truth?
Yep.
I was trying
Okay.
to keep an
What
eye
do you
on
do
that
for
also.
telling if someone was telling the truth?
Yeah.
Use rapport?
There's rapport.
Poor.
I think there's like two that work opposite of each other though.
Yeah, because I know that was
Rapport.
deceit is a thing,
Oh, yeah.
but what we want is
All right.
What does divination do?
Not this.
empathy. Says reading people.
So if you've got a empathy score, that would be what you would use. It's probably going to be a. He's probably going to be using deceit. Yeah, deceit.
Yeah.
Or you could use intimidation as an interrogation tactic.
Depends on what you want to do. He might go for his taser.
I could,
Again.
Please.
I have presents. Could I, like,
Your presence also.
make it, you have presents too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go. Just make, like, all of a sudden you're larger than life.
I think I think presence is like a
Yeah.
I guess it's whether we're trying to suss him out or whether we're trying to
Right.
intimidate him or whatever into.
Let me get you to make an empathy check if you've got empathy. And he's going to make a
2.
deceit. Okay.
It's like, what this could hurt or hurt a lot.
He says, no, I haven't seen anything going on or anything like that. You're not sure. He might be telling the truth, he might not be. You don't get a really strong read off of him either way. He says, but no, I haven't seen anything going on around here. I mean, lots of tours, of course, but that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you will let us, just, anything that pops in your mind, we're going to be walking around. We'll come back. I ask you again,
Sure.
something jogs your memory. Just,
Sure.
You're a good man, Oliver. I'm glad you're on the case. We wouldn't want anybody to be out here defiling our sacred.
Well, no, that's why
cemetery.
that's why they hired me, to keep this place safe. So yeah. You begin wandering through the tombs. There's, of course, you see
Totally
Nicolas
believe it.
Cage's tomb, which is the big, pyramid-looking thing. There's several other beautiful, beautiful statues. What?
Nicolas Cage's tomb.
Yeah, he's not in it. It's
He's
just
not in it,
he owns it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's-
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
he owns it.
Cool to know.
It's actually a
Cool to
very
know.
large plot, and there was a big brouhaha about the fact that he got kind of moved to the head of the line to get a plot in St. Louis #1. So yeah, but he bought it because he had bought the LaLaurie mansion and thought it had cursed him. So
That's awesome.
now Gabriel Beaumont has it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
And so there you go. Yeah, but there's this big. It's very much a kind of a national treasure-esque,
the hell
pyramid and big round sphere that's made of stone. It really doesn't fit with most of the rest of the beautiful tombs with statues and angels on them and stuff like that. But hey, it's Nick Cage, whatever.
I'm just looking at it, going, I bet that's made of stone.
It is. It is definitely made of stone.
Poke it, poke it, poke it.
I can't do that. This is
Nah,
sacred
you
ground.
really can. It is
But
sacred
it's got
ground.
a dead person in this, so this part isn't sacred, right?
I mean, it's ugly, but I'm pretty sure on a technicality I'd still get
Yeah.
whacked for that.
Yeah, you'd be in a lot of trouble. But it's beautiful. That you walk around, you see Marie Laveau's grave, which has a bunch of little X's on it, and there's a few little offerings like lipstick and beads in front of it as well. And so you kind of look around. Anybody doing anything particular like
I'm just looking around to see if there's any
I want to.
places that are like maybe people are meeting or
Okay.
I want to see if there looks like anything that looks disturbed. Any of the
Okay, so
maybe
you're
older-
investigating
Has
as well.
anything been left behind? If they're doing some kind of ritual or something like this.
So you're again looking for investigation too.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I want to look for signs of vampires.
So specifically vampire investigation stuff. Okay.
Love it.
Mr. Darwin.
These check out his t-shirt.
It is a nice t-shirt.
It's actually a very nice T-shirt. $10. That's pretty good.
I like the material.
Yeah.
You like
See,
the
that's,
southern
that's what I'm thinking. The material, that's what really sells you.
It's soft.
Probably won't be much shrinkage.
That's
This
right.
one.
Yeah, if it's just vinyl on it, eventually that'll just go away and it'll be a normal shirt. You know?
Screen print. Screen printing.
Screen print?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty
never
nice.
mind
Yeah, it's expensive.
Imagine buying a shirt with an image on it, hoping that the vinyl will That's very
I
cool.
can understand. Yeah.
I just want to see if I can find any other interesting tombstones.
Give me some investigation checks all around then. Sure.
Okay. 2.
How
I got
about
a 2.
fists?
No.
Oh,
What?
that's not
I
bad.
got a 2. No, I have investigation.
All right. So Miranda, you got a 2. What were you
2.
specifically looking for?
I was looking for disturbances. If any old graves looked disturbed, or just anything in general looks not in order.
The cemetery is set up. There's an area of it that just has dirt. And it's basically where they bury the people who are not allowed to be on the hallowed ground. Okay, the potter's field kind of idea, and it's not very large. You start looking around over there because that's mainly where you would find disturbed dirt. All of it's disturbed a bit, but you notice that it's maintained pretty well. I mean, the grass is not trampled down or anything like that. The tombs, the little stones that are set in the ground, all of them seem to be intact. They don't seem to be defaced or anything like that. You don't see anything that's really setting off your warning bells or anything.
And
like
with
that.
any of the older tombstones in the other area of the cemetery, anything look
No,
like
I mean
somebody-
a lot of these tombstones are very, very old. I
Right.
mean,
So
you're
it'd be
talking
hard to know
hundreds
if
of
wear and
years.
tear was
Well, not
someone's
hundreds of
been
years.
there.
Sorry, at least 100 years old. Some of them are from the 20s. Some of them from the late 1800s. But they all look okay. And again, remember that this is kind of an icon of New Orleans, so they maintain it pretty well.
okay.
They definitely do. Kylan, you were looking for fists.
Yeah, fists. I found some.
The other 2. What were you looking for?
Just like, I guess, trappings of vampires or
And you got a 2 as well, right? No, nothing that you can really see. Again, the closest thing is kind of Marie Laveau's tomb and all the little X's that are drawn on it, but you don't see anything that really reminds you of any vampires. You do know that White Court vampires could come out in the daytime. And so they could, be in here, but you do see a tour group with a guide. That they're walking around. He's wearing a trench coat, telling them all kinds of things about the different tombs. But yeah, it just seems pretty normal. No vampires yet. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Josie.
Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna look around and see if I can see if there's the remnants of any kind of, rituals or certain little drawings that I might recognize that people would do, and invoking spirits or
Right.
things
You're
like
looking
that.
for thaumaturgy stuff specifically.
Yeah.
What'd you roll?
Do I roll again? Or
No,
would I-
what did you
oh,
roll?
2.
A 2. You're kind of wandering around looking for different ritual implements or maybe, some kind of dust that you would recognize, or if somebody's drawn a circle or a pentagram. Nah, it looks all pretty normal. There's a lot of granite, a lot of stone, and anything that had been drawn on there that could have been pretty easily erased for sure. But you don't see anything that looks like it's been drawn on or anything like that. Yeah. It's a beautiful old cemetery, though.
Okay.
Whoops, sorry. Go ahead.
I'm going to look around for I'm not gonna let Miranda see me. I'm gonna get a piece of one of the monuments, or maybe a little urn or
You
something.
can find something.
To
So
take
your
back to
listening
do
spell?
the listening.
Yeah. Okay. You're able to find one of the urns that's kind of chipped, and take the little tiny piece. It's just a little tiny piece. It's not much, but you could definitely do some thaumaturgy
Okay.
on it to do it. Okay.
Alright.
Chuck.
I'm just looking to see if there's anything like signs of people kind of gathering in
Okay.
certain places or stuff like that.
What'd you roll?
1.
1. Yeah, no, not that you can tell. Again, lots of stone. If anybody had left any, footprints or anything like that, you
Like
wouldn't see it on the
cigarette
stone.
butts or
Yeah.
stuff like that.
No, I don't see anything. I mean, you even don't even see any cigarette butts. It looks like this place is cleaned up pretty nicely. So yeah.
So, I was trying to find other, interesting tombstones, and I got a 0. So all I can tell you is that the Nicolas Cage tomb is very distracting.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah.
There's also a really big statue in the center that is really, really pretty. It's from Easy Rider. It's the one that who is the guy?
Oh,
He's the one he was sitting in its arms. And stuff
Fonda.
like that.
Henry
Yeah,
Fonda.
Henry Fonda was sitting in its arms. But it is a very beautiful old statue. And I think it was actually created, was it a coffee magnet or something? I can't remember. It's been so long since I've been to the cemetery. But anyway, it's really nice. But yeah, you don't see any real tombstones that are interesting, but definitely the statues and things like that are very, very beautiful and old and pretty. So you spend a couple hours kind of wandering around. You don't see any muggers. You do see a couple tour guides.
Too bad.
Yeah. And it's probably around 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. Again, remember, it is cool out, so you're not hot. You're probably all of you wearing coats and things like that.
I think I'm gonna go home and
Set up your thaumaturgy
take a
spell.
nap or something, and I think I'm gonna go back there tonight and see if there's gonna be a gathering
Yeah.
of some sort. If anybody
Okay.
wants to
I'm
join
good
in
with
on
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind doing
What time?
that.
You guys want to meet back here? What time?
She
Well-
said it was around 11. Let's meet here at 10. Gives us time to kind of case the place, and because I figure they'll probably show up quarter to 11, or because we know it's from 11 to 12 that it's happening.
Well,
Okay.
12 to 1, actually,
I'm
is the
sorry.
witching hour.
12 to 1, but if
Yeah.
she said they're getting there, she thought 11. So
Yeah. All right.
we can maybe post up somewhere nearby where we can kind of see people going in.
Lots of alleys and places where you could post up and definitely see the entrance, or there's
Should
a
we
couple
sort of-
entrances actually.
Have a plan to fan out and not be concentrated in one spot, or do you think?
Yeah, because it'd be bad for us all.
There are 2 entrances. There's one that's on the south side, and then there's one on the east side. So
What's around it? I haven't been there.
there's actually a railway museum. It's a train museum. Across the street, there are a bunch of kind of looks like residential areas, small houses and stuff like that. And then there's kind of to the east of it, there's more houses and stuff like that. A couple blocks down is Louis Armstrong Park.
Darn
So,
goes
yeah.
but sees nothing because all he sees are the trains.
The museum guy, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll take this place.
No, I'll take the museum. You do notice that the cemetery is closed at sundown. They lock the gates, which magical practitioners, you know that ghosts rise when the sun goes down, that actually the sun can destroy ghosts, and so that makes sense because any spirits that would rise, you would want to lock them in about the time the sun went down. So
Fair enough.
I'll actually post up around when it closes, just before it closes somewhere.
so you'll come a little early. I think the sun goes down around about 6. Well, actually, okay, it's wintertime, probably around 5:30. Yeah, maybe 5.
So you could
Yeah, the sun
get-
probably goes down around 5, so you're going to need to be there. Yeah, earlier. So.
Okay, yeah, I'll post up somewhere around there and just watch.
Okay, you can just be across the street, maybe watching the south entrance, or what?
What's the closest entrance to the Museum of the Dead?
South entrance.
Okay, I'll post around the south entrance then.
All right. Make me a
Look slightly incognito.
make me a stealth check. See where we are.
Oh, that's a -2.
Wow. You
Standing out in the open, staring at the south gate.
there was
In the middle of the street.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there you go. What's your car? Everybody's seen your
Just
car.
wishing
That's
a mugger would.
That's right.
The rest of you head back to your various places of where you live. I'm sure that probably you catch back to get your scooter and ride it back home.
Yeah.
You gonna set the listening device, Jody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
At some point, I figured that we probably could have done over beignets before we were interrupted with a phone call. But I wanted to mention the fact that a couple of paranetters had disappeared around the French Quarter, and that it seems like they're pretty sure that there's some kind of ghoul activity or whatever at the docks. You being the warden and whatnot, I kind
She
of
needs
figured
to know
that.
That's right. She's a popo.
Well,
We have a pending ghost apocalypse, but that's something to be aware of.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
All right. So the rest of you head back to your various domiciles, except for Volt, who stands out in the middle of the street staring at the southern entrance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you do.
You're kind of actually you're probably sitting in your car.
Yeah,
looking
that
out.
would probably make more sense.
You see Oliver come out and close the door and lock it and chain it. He very pointedly looks at you sitting in your car, and you realize you've probably been made.
Ching!
And then he goes back inside. So you realize he saw you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, can I go somewhere else in stealth, or is that pretty much kind of...
No, you can go somewhere else. You're just gonna. You may want to go to the east entrance or something like that. I mean, you can.
Yeah, I'll do that, and I want to find, are there any, good, nice, dark, awful-looking alleys?
Do you want to? Well, okay. The sun's going down.
I'm looking to change into my half
Right.
dragon form, so I can actually have stealth as a skill.
Okay. So what I'm going to need you to do is tag one of the aspects of the area, which is definitely once the sun goes down. One of the aspects is shadowed because the alleys are narrow. So give me your fate point, and then you can tag that for a +2 or re-roll. So go ahead and roll for your stealth again. You can change to your dragon, okay?
Okay.
And then roll for your stealth. Well, actually, I'll let you keep that. You may not need to tag the aspect.
Yeah, I've got a good stealth when I'm in
Yeah.
dragon mode. That's
So you can hide behind those wings.
We'll see till I get all negative dice.
Hey, then you can tag the
Then I'll
aspect and
tag the
re-roll. That's
aspect,
right. That's
yeah.
right.
I mean, everything I've rolled so far has only been blanks or negatives. Just saying. It only go up from here.
Yeah, that's not bad. So a +3 then.
All right. You do find a shadowy alley that you can kind of slide into. You're able to park the car among some of the other cars that are in the parking lot, and you find an area where you think you're pretty well hidden as far as you can tell. I'm going to say you're probably hiding behind maybe in the shadowy area beside one of the stairs that goes up to one of the little houses. And you're able to definitely see the eastern entrance for sure.
Okay.
Rest of you go home, have some dinner. You set up your spell. You're able to get pretty good reception from the cemetery. It's a little further than the 422 is from your house. Actually, it's a little closer. So it takes a little less power. You hear a few... Go ahead.
I'm also going to pull out this really old tape recorder thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to load a cassette because I know I'm going to be leaving. So if anything occurs between me leaving
So you're going to record the sounds coming out. Okay. Yeah, you can do that for sure. It's one of those, tape recorders with one little handle and the one speaker, and you just, it pops up and you and yeah, you hit the 2 buttons at once. Sound effects are free.
How long?
And-
Yeah. How big a cassette is it?
Yeah, well, it's a normal cassette. No,
but I
yeah.
mean, it's-
Reel to reel.
Yeah, well, those things don't last that long.
No,
like a
they
couple
don't.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's true.
But I don't plan
You
on
gotta flip it
leaving.
over.
Yeah. No.
But I don't plan on leaving
Yeah.
too much earlier than the
Right.
time I need to be
Gotcha.
there.
We just
Alright,
film on the Fibonacci thing, so after 2 hours, the
Yeah.
ball comes out, hits the next one, and
And it flips
And I'll
out and
probably
another one
be-
slides in.
yeah.
I'll probably be listening to it before I leave.
Right. You hear several tours come through. Right before the sun goes down, there's one last tour where this guy is talking about some of the ghost stories and the vampires in the area. He gives the story about the cassette girls and the Ursuline convent. And so then, you hear the gates kind of in the distance close and what sounds like them locking. And that's about it. So you're kind of watching. You see Oliver come over and lock the eastern gate. This time he does not seem to see you, thank goodness. All right, so Jody, you're getting all your stuff. The rest of you are heading out to the cemetery. Jody, you've been in the back. It's about 9 o'clock. You're getting all your stuff ready. It's good and dark outside. Make me a... Is it perception? No. Make me a...
Awareness.
Alertness, Jody. Yeah. Alertness check.
3.
You're in your, you just set the cassette recorder, you hit play, and you think you hear something outside your house. Someone maybe walking around outside your house. Footsteps? You're not sure.
I'm gonna go look.
You leaving the lights on inside the house? You gonna turn them off so you're silhouetted against it, or so you're not silhouetted against them, or what are you gonna do? You trying to be sneaky, or are you just gonna look out the door?
I think I'm gonna go ahead and just turn the lights off as if I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make it look like
Right.
I'm suspicious or anything, but like I'm leaving.
Okay.
And then I'll just move. And can I tell which side of the house it's coming from?
Well, it was out front, and now it looks like it's kind of circled to the side of the house between you and one of the other houses on your block.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You gonna look out the windows maybe that direction?
Yeah.
Need a stealth check.
And I don't have any stuff.
Oh, goody. So it's a +0. That should be fun.
I have athletics.
Just how great mine was.
Mm-hmm. Well, now remember, there are some aspects you could tag,
Oh yeah, I forgot.
but roll first. I mean, let's do that. I mean, it's definitely dark in your house. It is shadowy, so you could probably tag those aspects if you need to. That ain't bad.
Got a +1.
Okay. Do you want to tag the shadowy darkness to give you a +2?
Yes, I'll do
Okay.
that.
All right. Give me one of your fate points.
We
Okay.
need one of the only
Yeah.
one.
All right. You peek up over the windowsill. There is someone in dark clothing walking down what looks like the driveway between your house and the house beside you. Somebody in very, very dark clothing. It's a big person.
Is it Volt?
No. It's got horns.
The devil man?
Yeah, it looks like the devil man. And he's walking
Is it
around.
as tall?
Yeah, probably 7-8 feet tall. Maybe, yeah, at least as tall as a devil man, wearing horns. You think you distinctly hear the sound of clopping of hooves on the concrete now. And he is circling your house. It goes to the back door of your house, and you hear like he's trying to open the door.
Do I assume I have wards and stuff on my door.
You have a ward, yeah. Oh, you also have remember, you have your threshold,
Right.
which is not real strong, but it's, and you hear the kind of, and then a shoulder go hit the wall. The door rattles, but it doesn't come loose. But you're worried if he gets really determined that what's going to happen.
So if he's at the back of the house,
Mhm.
I'm gonna exit the front of the house where my bike is.
Give me a stealth check. if you're trying to sneak away from him. Which is not a bad idea. Yeah.
A -1.
You're heading out the front door, and you turn around just out of habit to lock the door.
Can everything to tag it? Yeah.
No.
Okay.
You don't have any points.
Yeah.
You turn around to lock the door and drop your keys. I mean, it's just habit. You're locking your door. And you hear from the back, and then it looks like he's coming towards the front very, very quickly.
I am going to turn invisible.
Okay. Is that one of your rotes?
Yes.
What's the strength of it? Do you remember? I mean, what does he need to roll above is what it is. We should have it written on there.
+5 to see me.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. That's
Last
it.
one exchange others target number.
No, that's all I need.
Okay.
Okay. So he's going to try and see you. Fortunately, he does not have alert. Well, no, he does have alertness, doesn't he? His alertness is +2. All right. So you beat him. All right. You hear him coming around. You go, okay. I don't think you have a focus for that or something like that, and you disappear. He comes around the front, goes to the door, sniffs the air, looks around, doesn't seem to see you. You've kind of backed away from the door a little bit very quietly.
And I'm emanating not fear.
You're emanating, don't see me, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're emanating not fear?
I'm not. I'm like, because you know I wore the fear brooch.
Discipline check.
Okay.
Remember, he generates fear.
I don't. GM, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Talk to me.
This right here, you read that and tell me if this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
+4.
+4. Yep. All right. You seem pretty calm. You can feel the fear kind of rolling off of him, just in waves around. But you're able to kind of build your mental defenses and stuff like that. Miranda, you're getting ready to head to the cemetery, and you realize that you think you saw Della pick up a piece from one of the little burial urns there. And probably as a member of the church, you should kind of go get that from her. That it's not real cool for her to, kind of defile a place.
Yeah.
And so you decide you probably need to go over there and get that from her before anything else
Take it back
happens.
to
Right.
the cemetery tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, you have just walked down the street to her street, and you hear this. It sounds distinctively like a bull sound as something comes charging around, and you see what looks like the devil man come running around the corner of her house and go up onto her front porch and start looking around. You do not see Della anywhere, and the house is dark, so you're not sure what's going on there.
Okay.
Don't call me.
No,
just kidding.
At this point, your phone probably wouldn't work either. You go,
Yeah.
That'd be it.
And it is
That
currently
would be-
standing on the front porch.
Right, looking around, sniffing the air. This looks just like the devil man you guys killed.
Is
No stick, though.
the house dark?
Yes,
Front door open, closed?
closed.
Closed.
He kind of rattles the handle, looks around. It looks like he's looking for Della, is what you're thinking.
Right. Okay. I'm going, all right. I guess I would try to see if I could sneak in to the house through the back door
All right, so you're going to try and sneak around there. Okay, need a stealth check then. It can
to
happen.
let her know what's out here.
Yeah. Well, she may have already left, for all you know.
I have
Ooh, that's
+2. Do I have any stealth? I don't know that I have stealth as a skill. I
think
do
you really-
not have
you're-
stealth as a
so
skill,
you
but I
got
have
a 2.
+2.
All right. Let's see if he notices you. Wow. He had a +2 alertness, and I rolled a -1, so he got a 0. So he
Nice.
does not see you. You begin sidling around the house kind of quietly. You can feel the fear rolling off of him towards you, but you really, it doesn't hit you so much because he's far enough away from you. You slide up the little alleyway between her house and the house next door to the back door, and try to handle it. It's locked.
Try to pick it, or I don't want to knock and alert him to me being back here.
Right. I'm not sure what you would use to pick a lock.
I have athletics. Just kidding.
I think there's actually a
Is
skill
there
for.
something for that? I'm not doing it.
Oh, burglary.
Yeah, because I thought about
burglary,
making.
yeah.
I do not have burglary.
Well, you
but
can roll. Realize it's going to be really hard to pick a lock if you don't know how to do it. Yeah, that's not going to do it. Okay.
Okay, I don't do it. I don't
You
do
begin
it.
trying to pick the lock, and you realize this is a whole lot harder than it looks like in the movies.
Okay.
Okay.
I expect you just like get like a bobby pin and just
Sarah.
stick it in.
Then you get a credit card and and then you realize it's sealed up tight.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah.
I will pull out my phone.
Mhm.
He's on the other side of the house, right?
Right.
I will call Della.
All right.
No! Oh, wait.
No, so we gotta.
That is hilarious. The one thing we don't want you to do is this is hilarious.
Do we need to roll to see
I mean,
if I phone even
arguably
rings?
though,
Yeah.
from
I mean,
her
'cause, you know-
perspective,
I mean, this is.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think you are trapped in this
You
house
must be
and this
calling
thing
me.
doesn't know that
What?
Your
you're-
phone goes off. You can have it back. For once,
That's
your magic
insane.
doesn't short out your phone. You're
That's
standing at the
amazing.
end of the
Oh,
the
God, I love
you're
it.
standing at the end of the
I love it.
porch, and you're there going, he hasn't seen me, and all of a sudden your phone goes.
Do I hear
And
it?
You do. It's you hear it on the around towards front. The devil man turns and looks towards where you are.
But at this moment, look at me.
No, looks towards where you are. He doesn't see you.
I'm yelling, "What the?" and I'm pulling my sword out.
Okay. He charges towards you, and I think this is where we do our alertness check. Oh, well, no,
Okay.
what's your alertness, Jody? So we can see when you go. You
Roll
draw your
for it,
sword.
or
Huh?
you
No,
want-
no, it's just
it's
your
just
alertness
what
is
it
just your
is.
alertness.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Let me find it.
It's in her skills.
I'm not very
No, you
alert.
don't.
No, don't roll. Just your
Oh.
number. Just your numbers. All you
Oh,
need.
2 plus 2.
right.
Yeah.
Plus
So you're
two.
plus 2. What's yours?
+2.
Okay,
Oh,
cool.
this is
Devilman's at
so
plus 2 as well. I'm gonna let you go first because you're kind of prepped for him and he's a little distance away from you. You've drawn your sword. What are you gonna do?
I'm screaming, "What the hell?"
Dropping the phone.
Because the stupid thing never works.
All right. Oh, here you go.
The one time, it doesn't need to work.
I'm just imagining that Nokia ringtone.
Better roll,
All right.
high roll.
You remember, you're rolling weapons, okay? Okay.
Okay.
That's one added to.
Weapons 3,
Mhm.
4.
All right. His defense. Do you get any bonuses to hit from your sword?
I have all this written down somewhere.
I think you just do extra damage.
Focus on. It's a 3.
Mhm.
And can be a weapon 6.
Right. So that's just your damage thing.
Or a fantastic 6 to a counter spell.
Right, but he's
Which
not
is-
spelling you right now, is what it is. All right, so you got a +4. He comes charging towards you, and you don't realize how fast he's going. Before you even realize it, he's inside your sword and is going to, hit you. Yeah,
No,
you missed.
I wasn't swinging.
Okay.
I was holding it straight in front of me.
Okay, well then
So
when you
he's
do that,
coming straight on.
he
He's gonna
comes
impale
straight
himself.
towards your sword, and
Because I'm invisible.
at the last minute, he
I think is what it is.
dodges to the left and still runs through you. Now he's only going to clip you with his shoulder, so I'm going to roll for his to hit. Yeah, he has a +5 defense. You got a +4. You missed him. That's
Okay.
what it is. All right, so he's going to try and hit you with a hip check. All right. He has got inhuman strength, so that's going to be unfun.
Okay, I know a little about that.
Yeah. All right. So, well, okay. What's your
When can you do maneuvers?
you could do that instead of attacking or whatever. So are you? What were you? You were trying to just keep him. Were you trying to run him up on your sword or what?
No, I was just holding the sword in front of me.
If he ran into
So if he
you.
ran into me, it'd hit him.
Okay. So he's attacking you. I'm trying to remember.
So I'm not sure when a maneuver occurs.
Oh, well, you would do it instead of your attack. So what are you trying to do with your maneuver, Jody? That would be the question.
Well, the maneuver I have knocks everything prone in a zone.
Oh, you're doing a spell. Okay, so you weren't. So you could do that instead of pulling your sword out.
Oh, so I couldn't do both. Okay,
Right,
all right. Then
right.
I'm just gonna have the sword. Just
Well,
don't-
okay, no, you
continue
can.
with what
you,
you're
wait,
doing.
wait. You can draw the sword and do the spell, but one of them's going to get a -1 because you're doing two things at once. So yes, you can do that. Okay. So you need to make an evocation roll, not a sword roll. Okay. So you've drawn your sword
right.
and you're doing a spell. All right. So evocation. You're doing your
Air.
right. What strength? Is it a rope spell?
I don't know. I just wrote down whirlwind, air, knock prone, and all in zone.
That
It
is a
must be
rope spell.
It's
It's a rope. What strength is it? Or is that just?
It doesn't have a strength.
Okay,
but
'cause it's
with
a maneuver,
air is a
right?
+1 power.
Okay, so you're gonna knock him down.
So-
I'm gonna give him a might resistance to that because
So I'm guessing that maybe it's discipline plus,
give
One?
me a discipline roll real quick and let's see where you
and
are.
then I get a +1 because it's air.
Right.
Am I in the zone?
Yeah. Well, no.
I
This
mean,
would be
you're
the
on
front
the
of the
other
house.
side of the house,
Yeah.
aren't
Okay,
you?
so it's dead even, which means it's a +6.
Okay.
All planned.
Um.
Is that what I look like from the week?
Okay. You pull the tornado up at him. Okay. You pull the sword and go. Boom! All right, what you hear is winds start whipping around up there. He hits the winds, and sure enough, it shoves him to the side to the point where he crashes into the wall of your house, and he kind of drops down to one knee because you're literally creating a little tornado. And so there's some of the plaster on the inside of your wall. You're sure you hear, and fall to the ground inside the house. So you definitely kept him from hitting you. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna take off.
Okay, and you take off. Make me an athletics check. Okay.
Great. Do I even have athletics?
I don't know.
Yes, +1.
All right.
Man, I continue to roll terrible. -1.
Okay.
I have nothing, so it's a 0.
What are you doing? You hear
Okay.
the wind start to blow up front. You hear the clomping of the devil man.
Could I probably surmise that?
He's found it.
Yeah. Okay, so I will step around from the back of the house when I hear the wind,
Mm-hmm.
assess the situation. What do I see at this point?
Okay. Now you're running. Now remember, you're still invisible. Okay.
Yes.
So you see the devil man stagger against the wall of the front of the house on the porch and slam into it pretty hard. There's a little tornado that kind of whips up, smashes out, and then dissipates instantly. So you see the devil man on the porch.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
You do not see Della again.
Do I know? I mean, obviously, do I know she can turn invisible? Is that
Probably.
something?
I don't know that you've ever
Yeah.
seen her do it though.
So
She's a wizard. You know she
I'm
does some stuff.
assuming she's in the fray at this point because of the whirlwind.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to pull out my sword and attack.
Okay, that's a good thing to do.
I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead. I need a discipline check to make sure. Do you have discipline or conviction?
I have conviction.
Do you use conviction on this one?
Okay.
Because the Lord is your shepherd.
6.
What? Oh, you're fine. You're not scared.
Okay.
All right, good. All right, so you leap over the railing. Okay, one hand to leap over the railing and attack. Make me a weapons check.
That's gonna be a 4.
All right. Unfortunately, he has a defense of 5. So you leap over the railing, come sailing towards him. You pull your sword out and attack. He sees you at the last minute and very nimbly for a 7-foot-tall devil man rolls out of the way and kind of rolls up to his feet.
He didn't get knocked prone?
Well, he did, but he's just kind of moving out of the way. Oh, I guess he is prone. If you want to, you could tag that aspect for a +2
Yeah.
because he is
Or a
prone,
reroll.
or a reroll.
I'll get the +2 because if he's got 5 and I rolled 4, that's 6.
Yeah,
so
right.
Yeah.
All right,
it's
so
guaranteed versus.
very good. So he is on his knees. Instead of him rolling out of the way, you come leaping towards him, realizing he's down a little bit. You stab him with your sword. Let's see. Your sword does what damage?
Piercing.
Well, how much is what I'm asking for.
6?
I think
Piercing damage,
plus.
that's
Is it?
It'll
is
tell
this,
you on this somewhere, wherever your equipment stuff
Or
is.
8. I think it's +6.
I just have. I mean, is it my number that's this? My weapons number?
Well, it's like you have weapon 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, because your weapon has a damage rating.
Okay,
That's what I'm
so
looking for.
I think it was a 3.
I'm
that
pretty
we
sure it's a
established.
3, right?
Is it the same as mine?
I don't know.
Swords.
Well, this should be written on your paper somewhere.
Swords.
Because you have a
Yeah, I
magic
should have
sword.
written it down. I have +1 On this, it's a weapons 2 normally, and then I have a +1 added. But so
I
is
think
that?
it's
probably
3. I think it's probably 3.
I'm gonna go ahead and write that down because I, for whatever reason.
You sure it's not on the other paper? Are we missing a paper?
Oh yeah. Well, no, that says -3. That's how much it cost me.
Right. Well, let me look real quick.
When you first play D&D, you have all these boxes.
I
filled in. You don't know
I should have
anything
written this
means.
down multiple times, but
And
because
you
I
have to
feel like
read
this
it
comes up
over and
every
over.
time we go into combat,
That's
and I
all right,
forget.
no worries.
But I'll write it in pen this time, so I remember.
Well, it's only been 6 weeks since we've played.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
It's accidental every time.
You have to do the big.
All right.
No, you have to.
Why do I have to?
Because I said so.
Oh,
All right.
just out of spite.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realize that you were the one who had the duck.
Ah.
I thought that Jody did. She was just carrying on her conversation like nothing happened. I was like,
That'd have been.
that's impressive.
Yeah.
That is-
I found out the feet are really easy for it.
Okay, so for your sword, one, it counts as the when facing an opponent may spend a fate point to ignore their defensive abilities. So you could do that. It takes the place of whatever that is that creature has a weakness to, the catch, but it costs you a fate point. You're not afraid of him, so you don't need to do that. Your sword also may only be swung with true selfless purpose in mind and heart, which is not a problem. It's holy. There are a lot of things that are affected by holy, so that's good. It's a sword. Woo. So it also has true aim, which gives you +1. It's unbreakable. So it has a damage
I can
of
go through stone.
no, it doesn't. Yours does spells. So it's a damage of 2. So you beat his defensive roll by 1, and then have a 2 damage with your sword. So you do 3 damage to him. Is what it
Okay.
is. Okay, there we go.
And it satisfies the catch if I spend a fate point.
Right. But it's also holy. Like there's a lot of things that if something's holy,
It's probably already naturally.
right? Which you're probably sure a holy sword is going to defeat a devil man.
Gotcha.
It's
Now-
good to have holy heaven. Yeah. Yes.
What does satisfying the catch do again? It just-
If he has a defensive ability, something that makes him take and he does.
Okay.
He's physically immune to all attacks from people who are scared of him.
Gotcha.
You don't have to worry about that
Right.
because he's also weak against holy things.
okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I started running to move away from him.
Right.
Would I hear this? Her like jumping on and doing this? I mean,
Possibly if she gives out some kind of rah! Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, if
Um,
I hear somebody fighting, I'll go
Yeah.
back.
Well, and
But-
you also heard the devil man let out a bellow as she gigs him
Okay.
probably in the arm with her
So
sword.
I'm gonna. I didn't know how far I would have moved.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go back, and
Right.
what do I
He's
do?
still on the porch. Okay, so that brings us back around to +2s again. I'll let you. You're close to him now, so I'll let you go first. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, having stuck him in the arm, I'm just gonna swing again. And be like, "Begone, vile beast!"
hmm
Okay, that is a 5.
That'll tie him. Okay, which means you
Uh-huh.
hit, but you're gonna have a minor consequence, as in
Okay.
extended and off balance, which he could possibly tag to get a bonus against you.
Okay. Minor consequence. Where do I mark that?
No. It's not
Oh,
a minor.
you
It's
don't
just it's an inconvenience.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It goes away after one turn.
Okay.
All right, so you take a swing at him, but when you do, you're going to be mildly off balance. You do a 2-point hit on him this time, which is good.
Right.
Okay, and so but when you do, you're going to have to kind of extend yourself because he looks like he's been kind of cagey and dodging back, and so you don't think while you hit him, you definitely have left yourself open for a counterattack.
Gotcha.
Which we're going to go with him now. His attack. Ooh. Okay, so even. He gets a 5. What is your, let's see, weapon skill?
5. Well, do I count my sort of the cross +1, or is this just the weapon skill for my defense?
question.
Because it's 6 with
No,
the
it does
sword
give
of
you
the
a
cross.
+1 to your weapon skill, so yes.
So it's 6.
So it's 6, okay. So he comes across at you. He does not have a fate point to spend. Or does he? Nah. All right, so he's not going to spend his fate point this time. He comes across at you, takes a swing. You block it off on the sword, and he lets out another bellow. And again, you see this weird pinkish blood that comes flying off of it's just too
So-
white.
This is the devil man that we fought before.
Seems very much like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know he comes across and you do that. All right. Now Jody, you're coming up off the back up onto the porch, right?
Yeah.
You are still invisible for this round.
I'm going to throw ice knives at him.
Okay. Make your roll with your. I believe is that your rote, right?
Yes.
What's your normal attack? What damage does it do?
It's power plus 5.
Okay. So you'll hit him.
Okay.
All right. And what is the damage that it
I have
does?
no idea. It just says they have to make an athletic skill.
Okay. So he gets to defend, or does he? Or it's based off
Does.
athletics. Okay, so his athletics is only fair. Oh, that's right. He doesn't have his weapon, so his defense is much, much lower. Aha.
So maybe he took more damage from
Yes, he did.
Miranda.
He sure did. Because you beat him. Let's see, you got a 5.
Yeah, I got
So you did 5 points
I
of
got
damage
the
to
first
him.
time I spent a fate point to get
Right.
6,
Yeah.
which was
Okay, so he's taken a lot. Some of his higher ranking things have gone away then. All right, so Jody, you're doing an ice knife at +5, right? He's going to have to use athletics, so you beat him by 3, which means I believe you do. Let me see.
8 million damage.
that's called a.
Sounds amazing.
Where is it at? I beat him by
Yeah, so
3
you
is good.
would do 3 points of damage to him with your ice knives.
Okay.
Okay. Or you can spend for one shift. You get a weapon rating of +1. Let's see. Now you're going to take a minor. You're going to take 1 point of stress. Oh, actually, you should have taken 2. 1 for the last spell and 1 for this. Actually, 3. So you've taken 3 stresses because you turned invisible, threw a
How
tornado.
do I mark this? Do I start at the 4s and work my way to the 1s?
No, do 1.
Okay.
So you've taken 1 at the 1 point.
I guess that would be mental.
Oh, mental, yeah.
I really was going to put it in social.
Just put an X on it,
Okay.
so it's easier to erase.
All right.
Okay. All right. So you hit him for 2, Jody.
But
Or
how's
3.
that?
Yeah.
But you said I have to take 3 stress.
You take 1 stress for turning invisible. I forgot to tell you that. 1 for throwing a tornado, and then
Okay.
1 for doing your ice knives. It's mental.
Oh, it's all mental?
Yeah. So you've taken 3 stress boxes, which means you're getting tired.
Right.
Throwing
Right.
spells is hard work.
yes.
All right. So the Devil Man has already swung and missed on you. You've hit him. All right. This brings us back around to +2s again. Which one of you wants to go first?
We're all +2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think you technically attacked before I did, so.
Yeah.
I guess I could
Okay,
go
go for it.
again.
Yeah.
All right, another swing.
Mm-hmm.
Please be good. Ugh. It's a what is this? Nothing.
+5.
Nothing. Yeah, 5.
5. Okay. So you still hit him. Okay. So you're doing 5 points of damage to him. All right. You're going to roll up to this stress box then. All right. He lets out another bellow, and I think this time he's going to try and grapple you. What's your athletics?
+3.
Okay. So he's going to do a maneuver.
Maneuver.
Wow. +3. He received a 3. I think this is the point where he's going to tag that aspect off balance. And he does manage to get you. He grabs you. Because he has inhuman strength, you take 2 damage. All right.
Where do I mark?
That's under physical stress boxes.
Okay.
Okay. So you mark. No.
Oh.
Just mark the second box. Okay.
This?
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Well, what it is when you take a 2-point stress hit, you mark the circle under the 2. Okay. You don't mark the first and the second. Right.
Oh, just
Each spell you
Got
did
got
does
you.
1 stress to you. So the first spell you did marked your 1 box. Second spell was your second box. Third one. So
Gotcha.
you just take a 2
Because
stress
there's no
hit.
other one box.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
gotcha.
Right. Because if your 1 box is already filled in, you have to roll off.
Right.
Right. That's why when she hit him for 5, his 5 box was already full, so he had to roll up to his 6. Well, his 6 was already full, so he had to roll up to his 7 because he has
Okay.
a lot of stress boxes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to you, Jody. Now, the Devil Man has grabbed Miranda, so be careful about doing any ice knives. You might hit her too
I'm just gonna stab him.
with your sword. Okay, go for it. Make
You
your
still
weapons
invisible?
check. No, she just pops into being right now. It only lasts for like 2 turns.
Dang!
That's good.
I'm a reroll.
What? No, what? Okay. What aspect are you tagging?
Rage.
Rage. Oh, you have an aspect called rage?
I have icy rage.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
right.
even better.
Yeah, even better. All right. That's
Crap.
You
better.
got a little better.
Yeah.
+2.
All right, you tied with him, which means you would do the damage of your sword, which is 3, unless you want to tag it to do the +6, which is ludicrously bad.
I don't have another.
To tag, right?
Do you have to use a fate point to do that?
You tell me. Tell me. I mean,
Lord, guys.
I know the tag and aspect you need a fate point.
Yeah, no, I'm
Is that
talking
what
about
we're
your.
talking about?
No, I'm talking about her special sword.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I thought you were
Because I
talking
thought
about.
like once or twice
no,
per.
I thought you were talking about something
No.
differently. Okay, hang on. Let me.
Because
find
normally it
something.
does a damage of 3,
Hang
but
on.
Every once in a while.
He's just explaining it.
Okay,
once
yeah.
per session you can.
So
I think
it can be a
double that.
weapon 6. No, it's 3 times per session. I can do it.
Oh,
3
okay.
times. So it's a 6.
All right, so you're gonna make it 6. Okay. So that's gonna roll up to his 8 slot. Good lord. He's got his 1 and his 2 slot. You guys have just been smashing this guy left. You skewer him with your sword. He lets out a huge bellow of rage, and okay. All right. So next round, I'm gonna have the Devil Man. I need you to make a might check, Miranda.
Might. I don't have might as a skill,
all right.
so we'll see how I go. Is might? Would it say might or would it be like athletics?
It would say might.
Okay.
Yeah. See, Kylan has lots of might.
1.
Okay. The Devil Man takes you and flings you like a rag doll across the into basically the chain link fence between Jody and you go through spilling. You go spilling through the railing of the porch into the chain link fence. Let's see.
I think I do that blood cough thing.
Right.
Anime, just-
You're gonna. What's your? How much? What is your physical
I've
stress?
only taken 1 stress on my 2 box.
Okay, that's fine because you're about to take 6. So you're gonna mark off your 4.
Okay.
Okay, and you got 2 left over, so you're gonna take a minor consequence. Okay. That's down in this area. Okay,
Alright, so mild.
no, minor, yeah, or mild, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Now, nice
and
thing
that
about
says -2, so that takes up both of those.
right,
Okay,
perfect.
okay.
So the mild consequence you have is probably dazed, since he's thrown you through a porch into a chain link fence.
Okay.
Dazed, concussed, maybe.
I was gonna say concussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
concussion. Yeah, you're definitely dazed and concussed. So that's what he does. Now you still get to go. What do you want to do?
Okay.
Your
Stand
bell has
up?
been rung. Yeah.
Shake it off. Check the tendonitis. I see Della now, right?
Yeah, you see Della.
And you're
She's just stabbed him, so she's
Stabbed him?
close to him. Yeah.
okay. I'm gonna run back into the fray and, I'll say. Is he still prone?
No, he's up
No, he's up
because he grabbed you. He slung you over there, and then he's spun towards Della. Yeah.
Okay.
I tell
Is
you
that-
what, actually, do this. Take that level 4 stress that you took and move it up into a level 3.
Okay.
Okay, because he's going to take a second action, which is not a combat action.
Which
So
one?
you and so he has -1 to his damage.
Oh.
So to his roll. So what happens is because you get a movement action, all right, you can move up to 1 zone unless you make an athletics check, and then you can move possibly more. So he's going to make an athletics check. He's getting ready to bail on you guys. All right. Yeah. Okay, so he got a 2. He flings you to the side and then leaps over the railing and begins running down the street. Now, what you see is the further
Towards me or away?
Away.
Away.
what you see is the further he gets from the house, he just fades out of existence, and then eventually there's just kind of of black smoke, and he's gone.
You okay?
Yes, just a minute. I need to check my phone.
It's Miranda.
It was you.
I thought you were in the house. I didn't see you, and I thought he was creeping, so I was trying to.
I was on the porch, invisible.
Okay, well, you were invisible.
She's pretty banged up. You probably want to get her inside.
I know, but I just had
and
to tell her that.
give her some
Okay,
aspirin.
yeah.
All right.
I'm
so
going to take her inside, lock the doors.
now a mild consequence will begin healing. It'll basically be there. We would change it to probably that instead of being concussed, you're bandaged or something like that. And what'll happen is halfway. Let me see. Mild consequence. I believe when you take a mild consequence, it
So I
goes
guess
away.
He didn't die.
Huh?
Maybe he didn't die because the
So
his staff. is
your
still-
recovery has started because she's giving you that, but it'll last for one scene. So basically,
Okay.
halfway through the next scene, you're no longer going to have that consequence. Now, it doesn't cause you any problems unless you take some
pops
more
off.
of them. So yeah. Now, guys, it is 9:15. So since we got started a little slower because I didn't hit the right button on the camera, so there we go.